Hi everyone, I'm Susanna Bowen from Campion. Welcome. First, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. I'm broadcasting to you from the country of the Kaurna people, and I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, present and future, and extend that respect to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander peoples who are with us today. So welcome. This webinar has been put together by Campion to share understanding of latest digital trends and technical tools and what you can do. So thanks in advance to all the presenters joining us today. And if you have, just as a bit of housekeeping, if you have any questions, you should see a button that says Q&A. So feel free to pop queries in there and I will act as the moderator. So for today's session, we have invited leading content producers, which is some of our good publisher partners and a couple of edtech creators to talk about what's having impact in the educational technology area from their companies, focusing on years 11 and 12. We are recording today, so after the session I will share the recording and also send PD certificates for anyone who requested. And I'll just say if anyone here is attending EduTech in Melbourne, do please get in touch. We'd love to meet you on stand there. And first up, I'd like to introduce Paul Seil. Paul is our Senior eLearning Specialist from Campion, and Paul's going to take you through Campion's ebook aggregation platform, MyConnect2.
Thank you, Susanna. Okay, I'll fire straight into it and share my screen. So welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us. Now, we are here to talk about digital resources, and I'd love to start with the challenges. In particular, the three most common challenges that students and teachers face when it comes to digital resources. So firstly, product activation and account creation. Got a product, you're going over to a publisher's website, have to create an account if you haven't done one before that, and then take an access code and activate that content. Moving on is also access. So the problems around a different username for different publishers and or different websites. So too many username and passwords. And of course, having multiple locations, one for your maths resource, a different publisher for your science resource and so forth. So the solution, that's where we have three particular services. Okay, so provisioning is what we call the first one, and that's where we manage the students and teacher account creation and product activation on behalf. So that eliminates Gmails, Hotmails, mum or dad's email address, or whatever gets thrown in there at the time of order. And it's accurate because we're synchronizing data with the school, with data provided by the school. From an access perspective, to eliminate some of those extra usernames and passwords of different publisher websites and the likes is with by introducing and integrating single sign-on. And finally, the shiny front end, which is MyConnect2, our platform, which is our content aggregator to bring it all together. And a pretty key part of all this is there's no additional cost. So there's no cost hidden there or for any of these services at all. So let's jump straight into it. I will stop sharing this screen, jump across and share. Drum roll. Okay, hopefully that's all good and working at everyone's end. So I've jumped in now and I am in my demo or test account, and I'm emulating a teacher, as you can see here. And when you first log into your account as a student or a teacher, you are presented with a bit of a tour guide. This is a really handy tool, and it goes throughout the entire platform and the reading and the book list environment. So because today I am your tour guide, we will skip that and we'll just present the bookshelf. Now on this bookshelf as a teacher, because we do provision all resources that are being book listed or used via book hire model for teaching your students, so that means anything that can be, we've put on the account. Now obviously if you're a teacher that just teaches humanities, you don't need to see all these resources. Of course, there's filtering tools to try to make this experience a little bit easier. Before we get to that, looking at this background and this backdrop here, you can see that we've customized it by putting Campion's MyConnect logo here. We've got a custom background and our color scheme. We can also update and change that to match the school's color scheme and school logo and so forth. So therefore, it doesn't look like students and teachers are leaving the school environment to access the resources so much. It doesn't look like another app if you like. Now, as I talked about filtering, on the top right-hand side here, these are the most common filter tools. We can sort it by subject, and there we go. Everything's now in particular subject order. Or if you've favorited items, because it's just the resources you need, especially as a teacher, then you've got a quick way of viewing this every time. So when you log in next time, it's only going to show you favorite items and so forth. There is a bit of a deeper dive here from a filter perspective. If you really want to look into it, that's built in the left-hand side column as well. Now, on the bottom right of this page, you will see a little chat icon. It's like a level 1 help desk, if you like, and we staff that as well, so we can support students and teachers on the fly. But there is also built in some frequent answers and questions and some common use case articles to help support any of the challenges that might appear when using the product. Okay, and on the left-hand side, especially at this time of year, there's a tool that we invested and integrated into this platform several years ago now, but it's a well-received tool, especially for this time of year, and that's the trial area. So that's the ability for teachers to trial additional resources, especially when there's a new curriculum change or we're right in book listing time of year, which we are right in the middle of. Then this is another way of getting some exposure. So being able to see new resources and or compare what you might currently be using and look to see if there's any alternative. Really handy part about this as well, as you can see here, I've just typed in the word page, and this is now showing all page proofs. So publishers are releasing their page proofs as they become available. So you can get a good look at a product or a few sample chapters prior to its publication. So we can do this kind of a lot earlier, so you can be quite informed as to what is coming and what's available moving forward. Back to the bookshelf. So there's an area here, if I click on admin portal on the left-hand side. Now I've got a few more icons than everyone else, but if you click on my content, there's the ability to upload your own content and share that out to a student, to a class, to a year level, to the whole school, whatever that might look like. So as you can see, this is my example product that I've created called Example Product. On the top right-hand side here, there's an Add New button. Pretty simple stuff. This is made to be simple and intuitive. Click on Add New. I'm going to give it a title. I'm going to give it a description. I'm going to acknowledge that there is nothing unlawful and you tick all the copyright boundaries. And then on the right-hand side, you could get a cover image and, of course, upload the file. Now, that could be a PDF, a Word document, a video, whatever that might look like. But this is just another way of sharing content, or if you've curated your own content, of being able to incorporate that into the MyConnect environment, as well as using the MyConnect tools to support that product. So, and allocating that content as simply as easily as clicking on here, choosing how many months or whatever customization you'd like the license to be there for, and we can select bulk users, so you can select the users via class or year level or teachers for that matter, or you can very simply just type in a name, hit create license, and that will then appear on that user's account. Nice, simple, and easy to get access to. All right, jumping back to the bookshelf. Now, I am mindful of time, so I will go through this a little fast, but hopefully everyone can keep up. So when you're picking a resource, fundamentally the two places you're trying to get to, and there's a little tour guide, is either the publisher's online portal, as you can see here, where it says Oxford Digital Resources. So clicking on that will take them via single sign-on into Oxford Digital, so that way there is another username and password, or we're opening the book or the ebook or the PDF, if you like. And when we're in this case, we're going to open the ebook up, and you can see there's our wonderful tour guide popping up again. And this has remembered what page we're on. So it's very fast loading. It synchronizes all your annotations and notes in the cloud. So if a student does come up to you and say the dog ate their laptop, they haven't lost any annotations or the products. They can just log in on another device. Moving over to the top right-hand corner here, there is a settings icon. Pretty commonplace settings, but the most common one used here is probably switching between light and dark mode. Now, from a navigation perspective, we have built in all of the paginated, all the chapters and so forth. And hopefully you can see this at your end, and it's reflecting that way, how quick and snappy this is just by clicking on a chapter and or flicking through the pages. So it's really quick, it caches in the background. It's a really good experience when using the product. So moving over to annotations. Now, this is where what we've done is we've tried to add some value, if you like, or bells and whistles to what is fundamentally a pretty flat product. So this is where we can add some different types of annotations to enrich this particular resource. Now, there's 5 different types of annotations. I'll give you a bit of a run through of what they look like now. So clicking on the first one here, you can see that I have highlighted a particular piece of text, marked it in the color purple. And what it's done over here on the right-hand side is it has taken a portion of that text, put it into the annotation. Now, a really important and a pretty handy tip, if you like, which I encourage you to talk to your students and or teachers about, is to add keywords to your annotations. From feedback over the years and use cases, that you can imagine that how many annotations actually are created throughout a year by students and teachers, whether that's 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, and it just keeps growing, but they can kind of get lost in the product. So keywords are really important. And an example of what a keyword might be is you can see that I've written the word homework here. So at the very top of the annotations bar, there is a area there where you can search those annotations. I type homework, and now it's filtered all of my annotations, as you can see, that have the word homework in them. Really handy, really easy way to get to annotations. Could be Mrs. Smith's semester 2 August exam, however you might like to write that as a keyword, but it's just a good example of being able to be somewhat organized as well with your annotations and make sure that they don't just get lost throughout the product. Okay, another thing that we'd all like to have is students very organized as well regarding filtering items, but there's the ability here to change or select color. As I said before, this annotation in particular is in a purple, but if you can see further down, I've got other annotations in red and the like. Now, on the right-hand side here, there's a filter button, and if I go to color, and let's change it to red, and go to apply, on the right-hand side here, what this has done is, and I've made this part of my annotation organization, is that anything with the word exam or study would be red. So if I changed it to purple, you'll find that everything that is marked as homework, every annotation that's got the word homework, is now marked as purple. So it's just another way of organizing your annotations. Okay, let's jump in. So, yep, we've highlighted text, or what we do moving down further down here, I've done some scribble or attempted to write, if you like. In this case, the word says study this chapter, but this is where an annotation requires context, because otherwise that doesn't mean a lot when you first look at that annotation. So on the right-hand side here, again, I put my keywords. I've written this is an important chapter, more homework required, complete by Wednesday. Moving on, and I've put a big purple highlight and an arrow around a heading. Again, doesn't mean a lot without context. So on the right-hand side there, written a few keywords and just a little bit of context as to why I've made that particular type of annotation. Moving down is also the rich note. Now, this is where you can add different types of annotations to it. So in this case, I've clipped a YouTube video, but that could be an external link, could be an image, could be a document, whatever that might look like, and add that to this product. Now, as teachers, you actually get a few extra options here because there's a little icon here, and you will notice that the annotations here all say me because they're my particular annotations. But if I click on that, and then I can actually share that annotation. So currently it's mine, it's set as private, but I could share that out to a teacher, to a student, to a class. You've got some kids excelling and you've got some additional work that's wrapped around a particular chapter, and you can send that link. So then when they log in in their annotation section, they'll say teacher's name and whatever that annotation is there. And that's entirely moderated by the person or the teacher that shares it out. If you're a head of department, for example, head of humanities in this case, you might have some extra information or some extra links, something like that, across different chapters, and then you can share that with your other heads of with your other humanities teachers, so that you're all got extra value, if you like, around the products themselves. Okay, so moving on, if I highlight a bunch of text here, a really cool feature that we've built in, and that's for if you've got any students with English as a second language or any learning challenges, we've got the Microsoft Immersive Reader built in here. Won't go too much into this, but you can see here, this will read that in English in this sense, but this also gives the ability for students to customize the text size, the font, the reading color, search through and find the different grammatical parts of the text, as well as line focus, which is a really popular one actually, of how it will read the product line by line. Now, also, whilst the Olympics are on, let's change the language or put it into French. So now if I picked a particular word, all right, I picked a word that says the same. If I picked a different word, Eastern, or climate, climat, all right, so, or regions. There, I'm picking all the words that sound the same. Anyway, receive is in English, and now that's in French. Alternatively, you can change the entire text. So then that would actually read in lovely French accent, a lot better than I could attempt to do. Moving back to here, so another key part of being able to work with the product is deep linking. Top right hand side here, there's a little button here that takes you to the deep link. So this enables you to, if you're using your learning management system or you have some piece of software that you use to set out your class plan, you can take this link and actually embed the page. So in this case, page 62 in your learning management system. Otherwise, it will activate as just a link. So that way, wherever your class plan is, the kids need to get to the, in this case, chapter 2.11, they can click the button, saves the clicks, as I say, and then get straight into the product itself. So that's a pretty handy tool to deep link and embed some text into your learning management systems and the likes. So just quickly as a final overview there, again, there's no additional charge for these services. From a provisioning perspective, your teachers, it's a kind of an all-in approach rather than a very strict prescribed model where available. Yeah, if you have any questions or you'd like to take this offline or have a bit of a deeper dive where we've got a little bit more time, then by all means reach out to Susanna or myself or your account manager.
Fantastic, Paul.
Thanks,
Thank
Susanna.
you so much. I always love the page proofs and review functions. I think are a real boon, especially at this time of year for many school staff. So next we have Caroline Poole from Cambridge University Press. Caroline, you got this brief today, so thank you for showing.
That's okay. Thank you for having me. So I'm filling in for Christine Devine today. I am the New South Wales Field Manager here at Cambridge, and I'm going to show you some of our online resources for seniors. Okay. So our digital resources are tailored to the needs of the teachers and students in specific subject areas for senior studies. Some of our senior resources are available on our Hot Maths or Edgen interactive platform, the online version of the student text with a host of interactive features and also a learning management system for teachers. Other titles are available in our Elevate platform with a range of digital tools to enhance student learning. All digital resources and additional downloads are available through our online gateway, CambridgeGo. Practice exam creation is available in our VCE Senior Maths, VCE Senior Science, VCE Business Management resources, and also the WA Senior Maths resources. Using actual past exam questions and exam style questions, teachers can create custom practice exams for their students. Teachers can select questions from an area of study or drill down to a topic. Also filter for question style, difficulty level, calculated, assumed or not, multiple choice or written answer. Multiple choice exams can be assigned online and also auto-marked. Teachers have access to the answer key and can share their exams with the other teachers in the school. Teachers can choose to print the exams and have students sit them in a mock exam scenario. Other digital features available to students include our embedded videos. Students can take control of their learning with video demonstrations for all worked examples in the Senior Mathematics series in each state. Other video content available in science or humanities resources explains concepts, enhance case studies, give context or provide source material. Students using our Senior Maths digital resources can use Desmos graphing tools for visual maths concepts from any location in the interactive textbook. Multiple choice quizzes for each chapter section in Senior Maths resources give students immediate feedback on their progress. Quizzes can be submitted to the teacher for reporting. Students using our senior resources will also have access to written response questions, with a workspace available to write, draw, or upload their answers. Scientific notation is available in the workspace, and students also have the choice to use LaTeX coding to submit their responses. We ensure you can cover the topics that suit your students by providing additional digital content. Our New South Wales customers for senior history, society and culture, business studies and legal studies can take advantage of additional digital chapters covering optional content or alternative topics. In between editions of selected senior series, we update things like statistics, legislation, business information, sources and data to ensure students are accessing the most up-to-date information in their subject area. Digital updates are also available free of charge for current users. New South Wales customers can expect digital updates for Stage 6 resources, Cambridge Studies of Religion and Cambridge Society and Culture next year. Our popular VCE checkpoint study guides are also available in digital format for instant access. Students can use the digital study cards to test understanding and recall or attempt the auto-marked multiple choice questions. Videos summarising key content are available in most subject areas, and the digital version is optimised for mobile devices, so students can study anywhere at any time. New multimodal interactive case studies embed audio, visual or performance artworks to provide students with an immersive learning experience. Students can gain inspiration and guidance on what is expected in their subjects by viewing past students' work, as well as interviews with students reflecting on how they found the creative process and what learnings they had along the way. So please feel free to get in touch with your local education resource consultant to request an in-school or online demonstration of any of these digital resources. And thank you for your time.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that, Caroline. We'll move. I don't see any questions for Cambridge. There is a question about the trial resources page from MyConnect from Claire. So Claire, that's the ability, if your school is using MyConnect 2, there is the ability to search across pages from all publishers that have been loaded up. So we'll follow up and drop you a line about that, just with some information there. And next, moving on to Oxford. So we have Chris Lowcock, Education Consultant from Oxford, to show us Oxford Digital.
Thank you very much for the opportunity this afternoon. What I will do is actually take you through and look at what we're launching with our QCE, Queensland General Syllabus products, and then what the new digital format for some of our new resources will be.
Chris, I'll just interrupt you quickly. Your camera is off. I don't know if that's intentional.
Okay.
If you want to...
Let's do that. There we go. People can now see my ugly mug. But anyway,
there we go.
Let's go back to sharing my
the
screen.
human face of Oxford. Thank you.
There we are. So yes, I'll take you through this to give you a quick snapshot. So the key features of our digital platform and our new products for the QCE, we're publishing across the 4 sciences and for physical education, each with a textbook and also digital O-book e-reader. With the new look features, so fully revised to the new syllabus for 2025. We're moving to a new structure of unit module lesson. And as opposed to previously where we've produced for a book and then translated that into a digital, we're now actually producing in a digital format and then reproducing that as a print product. So you'll see a lot nicer and easier flow to both the books and the digital. So nice open spreads, clear learning intention, success criteria, all designed there to reduce that cognitive load and to provide flexibility for teachers with print and digital options. All the content is supported there with prior knowledge quizzes, with signposts for all the pracs and study summaries. First chapter in the book is our toolkit, which is updated. This is really to help those inquiry skills and those science and understanding, designed, and also where the cognitive verbs are all introduced as well. All questions, all work solutions fully supplied on our online. And we've also taken the best of our workbooks and now included them actually in the student text and digital format. So you've got study tips, exam highlights, worked examples and everything there. So we're going to actually have a quick look at the new digital platform for the QCE, and this will be rolled out as new products come online or there's a curriculum change. All of our new products will start going into this new format. What we have done is we've also partnered with some key users across our platform. So working with Quizlet, which enables students to gain extra insights with extra quizzes, videos, games, learning templates, etc. Big partner, ClickView Videos. So we've aligned with ClickView, and they're supplying some of our video content as well as we're creating in conjunction with them. So no more having to search their humongous library trying to find the right resource just for what you need. We've also partnered with a company called Learnosity, which enables us to take from the domain of quizzes and auto mark questions online have always typically been just multi-choice. Well, now we've actually got higher order thinking. So there's actually drag and drop, mix and match, true and false, all sorts of higher thinking level questions. So let's have a look. Your Oxford University through the MyConnect. So this is a typical, I've mocked up a page. I've jumped in now with our biology. So you'll see the Oxford digital resources, and you would click on that to gain access to your library. In here, you've got your quick links to managing classes and activating products, setting up offline access where you can actually download pages, chapters, even whole books into a cached. When we're doing updates on new resources or new tools coming in, you'll see updates here, and teachers get a quick look at what marking they might need. So long and short answers are still teacher marked, but all other questions are auto marked. So I'm going to jump into biology. So our new look and format, you've got this easy reference tool on the left-hand side here, where you've always got access to your course data, your full list of resources. So all your planning documents, all the resources that are right throughout the book can easily be searched and sorted, can be downloaded. You can copy links, you can assign work for pre-organizing your time. All assigned works are a lot more interaction with our digital platforms now. So you can share notes, similar to what you just saw with the MyConnect. You can actually share highlight notes, put them into a color, share them with students or other teachers. You can assign readings, you can assign videos, work, pre-work, all sorts of things that you can share with students as well. In our report section, which I'll cover off a little bit later, all the assessment pieces, all the formative and summative assessment throughout the program is recorded, and it's also translated back to curriculum outcomes, so you can track that as well. So we've got things like notes, bookmarks. You've got the Oxford Interactive Digital Dictionary, so that'll give you Oxford Dictionary definitions for every word. And we've also now got font sizes and also the read to me text as well for accessibility. So if I click on the courses, we can see here our list of courses. And as we click through, I'll go into module 7. We've now got this nice way of displaying. So this is the full HTML flow. You can either look at slide view, which then puts all the elements, or your page navigation now is on the right here. So this is our chapter, module 7, and all of our lessons down here. We've got our slide mode or our single page view as well. So in a single page view, it puts all the text here in a nice easy flow, and you scroll down. In the slide mode itself, you've then got each one just specifically this content for what occurs during, I won't try and say that word, but anyway, I'm not a biologist, so not a biology teacher. Also within the new format, you've got your resources embedded in the text. So you've got your videos already there to play. You've also got what we've done is put these engagement pieces in here. So students aren't just purely reading text. They can engage with the text by quickly doing a quick formative test by clicking on the answers, and you see those results immediately. Scrolling down towards the end of the chapter, you've covered all your content, and you've got your check your learning. So we can actually assess and give a formative view of how your students have undergone with that. You can also get them to do it digitally, or you can display it on the board. So giving you more flexibility in how you present and deal with your lessons. So you can put the questions, which are in the actual physical textbook, or if you're just using the digital, you can display your questions up there, and the students then write in their answers in their notebooks. And then you can also then display answers as well. So for every question, we've got the answers. So if you're not a biology teacher in this case, you've got the answers there. So clicking through, I'm going to go back to module 7. And one of the new things that we've got is this we've got our resources. And with all of our resources, the resource area where we can go through and we can actually select we can copy links, we can save favorites. There'll be highly recommended resources as well as your own saved. You can do all sorts of filtering by chapter, by unit. You can do a word search on particular resources. So if you're looking for Newton's law of physics, you can type that in, and anything that's got that in there will come up in your resource list. So a great way of pulling everything, and in your planning, you can actually pull together. So if you want to create your quizzes, or if you want to do your assessment, you want to create an answers booklet, you could create that through here as well. Let's go back to the beginning of our Oxford Biology. This is our report section. So as you see, all the auto-mark questions are automatically graded, and you can have a quick look to see how students are performing across the different modules. And here we can see in green above students that are above achievement level, those that are on, and those that are below. We can then click that through and then look at that particular module 7 and look how they went through the modular checklist, how they did in their pre-test, and then all the different assessment areas. Now, we've also got a premium product here, which is our curriculum report. So all questions throughout, and all the questions are actually staggered and actually hierarched. So then you've got easier to more difficult questions. I forget the word for that. But here, and all the questions are linked back to curriculum outcomes. So you can see the progression across particular content descriptors and their outcomes, expectations, how students are progressing, which is great for when you're having those one-on-one conversations or your three-way conversations with parents as well to address areas of concern. So back to our core content. You can actually now customize your lesson. So we've provided you with all the information here. We can actually customize, and we can look at our individual elements within our lesson. There's timed elements there to show you how long each element is. I can look at particular activities, and I can actually go, yeah, I don't particularly like that activity. I'm going to hide it. And that way I can actually tailor my lesson plan. I can then download it into a Word document, so I can put that in my planning or evidence documents. And from here, what we can actually do is click on what we call our live lesson mode. So this actually takes away the means or need to actually create your own PowerPoint slides. You've now created your own lesson plan and embedded any extra resources that you might like. I can start my lesson. I can see the students can join by using this join code, and I can see who's in my live lesson, whether they're physically in the class or even still at home or in a distance education. So now my lesson is laid out and I've got my resources all set here. As I go through, I can click the next lesson. And you can see here the investigation is embedded in here. And I can control the content and what the students see. They can, of course, read the actual course content information, but when it comes to activities, we can either do this as a class activity. I can leave it locked and we have a discussion. There's helpful hints. So if students are struggling, I can give them some prompts, and then we can look at the answers. But if I want them to complete these activities online, I simply unlock the activity and say, right, now you can complete. Now, in this live lesson mode, it actually splits you've actually got two tabs. One is the one that you're displaying, which is this lesson that we're seeing here. And on your own computer, you've got your lesson notes. So you've got your lesson plan laid out. So you've got your script ready. So it makes it much more flexible and easier to present. As we go through the lesson, again, all your interactives are all embedded in there, all your resources. You've got your skills and drills activities, and your check your learning at the end. And when we've finished our lesson, I can then go through and select all my students, those that attended or absent, and I can select different activities, things that we may not have looked at, or I want them to review or they need to keep. And I can also set some pre-work for the next lesson, and I can assign this to the students. They get an email, you can set a start date and end date, send an email, and it's all signed. And when they click on their assigned work in their notifications or from the email, it takes them directly to that resource. So that's a very quick look at the new platform and look of the new flow. And I hope that you'll find that exciting and useful. As I said, that's the new platform that we'll be delivering for all of our QCE products here in Queensland, but all that will also roll across into the new platforms available elsewhere. Just a quick idea on pricing. So you've got, we've got an essential package and a premium package for schools. So when you're looking at digital, you've got access there. And if you're a book list school, by all means, I would suggest talk to your local consultant to actually talk about the options there. The difference between the essential package and the premium is the premium gives you that live lesson mode where you've got your tailored lessons and your presenting and control. And then you've got your interactive integrated Oxford Dictionary and that advanced reporting, that curriculum outcome reports. Here's just to give you a quick idea on the availability of when we will be delivering. We will have early subjects, core content delivered ready for term 4, and then the full course content will be delivered for units 1 and 2 in November. And for 3 and 4, that'll be delivered in September 2025. Physical print products just arrive in December for unit 1 and 2. And all the digital resources, so all the online exams and everything will be rolled out.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Chris. We will move on. I see you've got a couple of contacts details up there, which is really nice. And obviously, anybody who's looking for assistance on Oxford or indeed on Cambridge or anything else that you see here, you can reach out to your Campion account manager, who will be pleased to hook you up with the right person. So brilliant. Thank you very much, Chris. And next, I'd like to introduce Kerry Thomas, who's the Digital Partnership Manager at Nelson Cengage. Hi, Kerry.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Okay, so this is speed dating, so we will get stuck into it. It's very hard to do a whole gamut of subjects with different offerings and what they require. So hopefully I'm going to give you enough information to know what the immediate material and then go from there. So I'll just share my screen with you and hopefully you can see that now. And basically we're discussing Nelson MindTap in particular today. So Nelson MindTap is our new platform. And basically, like all platforms, it's an online platform and it delivers all the material that you want, including aligned curriculum content, assessments for teachers, learner control, which is especially important these days, accessibility. It's a one-stop shop. And look, you could say that perhaps about other platforms as well. And again, it's about you know your school better than I do and what works for you and us helping you to navigate what's the best for your situation. So probably something really super important to point out to you. I have worked in digital for a lot of years now, and I know that all my schools want to know, well, what about the privacy side? What about the security side? So just assuring you that we are accredited with Safer Technologies for Schools, so you can be assured that all the data and all that secure information remains that way. So very important to point that one out for you. And then another thing that we need to just make you all aware of is many of you all know that we have an existing platform called Nelson Net and we have our new platform called Nelson MindTap. So we are slowly migrating to Nelson MindTap, But for the purposes of you knowing which one is which, if you've got LOAP materials that you're using in senior, that will be sitting in Nelson Net, and anything new pretty much from this year onwards will be provisioned in Nelson MindTap. So for all our Queensland customers on QCE, boy, you've got a lot ahead of you at the moment. For our Victorian customers with PE, for example, that will all be in Nelson MindTap. So let's have a little bit of a closer look at some state-based stuff. So here I've popped out a little list, and yes, it is long. That's why it's great to get this recording. But these are all our products that are currently or about to be released in MindTap, and you'll see for New South Wales, our senior ones there, and we've also got some senior maths that will be coming. Queensland, you have a massive list. I'm feeling exhausted just thinking about all the work that you need to do. And of course, we are publishing lots of those areas for Queensland. I'm going to have a little chat about that in more detail on the next slide. For WA in particular, your maths, senior maths, which is already all released, so is not necessarily front list, but that's still there because, of course, the delays and things in actually implementing your particular syllabuses. And Victoria, so quite a lot there for Victoria, maths, food studies, psychology. The new ones in particular for you, if you are in Victoria, is one of our flagship products, physical education for year 11 and 12, or units 1, 2, and 3 and 4. And then also VCE software development and applied computing is also coming and changed for this year. So first, we're going to have a quick little chat about QCE. One of the things I know about an 8-minute time frame to give you information is it's very hard to jump in and out of platforms to show you. So I'm just going to give you some basic information. These are just some of the beautiful covers and text that are being created for you. And of course, we have our trusted authors that you know and love, and we still have them with us, combined with some new ones. But we did a lot of listening to Queensland and did a lot of talking with Queensland about what you actually wanted. And you will know in your schools better than I do what exactly is the digital option you're after, whether you're going fully digital or you just want part digital, or in fact, maybe you're not that digitally inclined, you're just having a little bit of a think about it at the moment. But what we did come to a very strong conclusion was that you want teaching plans, you want PDFs, you want an ebook, you want solutions, and you want an exam and a test maker. So all those things are there for you in QCE, materials that we're designing for this year. And we've also looked at the whole scenario of, for everybody, the competing pressures on our parents, community on schools to make good decisions about what you need at a good price point as well. So there are a variety of different texts for QCE, and Amanda and David up there are waiting to talk to you all along with your Campion reps about that. But we've gone with what you asked for, which is the main things, not too many bells and whistles, and just get into there and be able to do your content with what you want, and then all that supporting material. The exam test maker, of course, is always super important when it comes to VCE and practice. So you have that ability to create all different types of tests and exams, to share them with teachers and to print them off, do all the things that you normally would do with an exam test maker. So I wanted to point out VCE for PE in particular. So we have gone with our combination for this, but of course, if you're a digital only school, you can do that. However, the workbooks are for writing in, and the reason I am very keen on still having that sort of component is because we still do our exams by hand. So it's good for our students to still be able to write in a workbook that becomes like a resource for them for studying as well. But VCE PE, of course, comes with our very popular and well-respected author, Rob Malpelli, along with a number of other, and we have some new people as well. Of course, you'll remember Amanda Telford too. But in VCE PE, we've got all our video tutorials, exam test makers again, teaching plans, your PDF if you just want a straight PDF, solutions, workshop, online learning checks, assigning work, grade book, all those things that if you want to go straight digital that you want and require are there for you. But one thing to mention in particular about in the VCE, for example, and it is in a number of other our textbooks as well, is the ability to customize your course. So one thing that we do know about our students is that they can get very overwhelmed if they see too much work all of a sudden sitting in front of them. So you can, for example, in PE, you can hide things if you like. So you can just introduce chapter by chapter, you can reorganize it. And it's not just a lesson plan, it's actually how your whole entire text will look when they go on there digitally. You can also add in your own folders and your own web links and create it and basically create your entire course within the platform. So just to give you a bit of an idea, this was one I did for maths, of course, not PE. So, oops, sorry about that. That was silly of me. But if I was to customize, I can, for example, now make my student book look like this. So I can call it Nelson Secondary College. I can change. You'll see that I have actually reordered certain things. So I've called it Nelson. I've put in my own folder with some information. This section here of the content I've rearranged according to the way I think we should do it. And you also see that I have in this grayed out section, I have actually hidden certain things. Now, the good thing about this one, of course, is that you can still see your student view. You can see your own view that is not changed around, or you can have it changed around to your course as well. And you can take your course customization with you from year to year to year as you change it, improve it, make it better. You can take it with you as you go. So nothing is left behind. So some of our Nelson MindTap products have this option. It is a good thing to think about, especially if you're one of those schools that is going completely digital and you want to be able to have everything at your fingertips in one spot in the order, creating, in essence, a bespoke book for yourselves. So don't forget here in Victoria as well, there for VCE, we've got applied computing and software development as well. That is coming for you again with our same authors that are tried, true, and tested and trusted. And moving on to probably one of the main points that I would like to say is that you have a lot to look at if you're looking for new content, and you're getting a lot of information in a very short period of time with a lot of publishers that are all good at doing what they do. We want to be able to help you to get through that minefield. So to help you assess if MindTap is the right thing for your school and your digital requirements, please book in with us, our learning consultants. And also Campion has this information too, and they have their wonderful platform, which has some really cool things that you can do as well. I have to say, Campion, I love the fact that you have immersive reader, one of my favorite things ever. However, talk to our learning consultants and they can help you to wade through everything, because at the end of the day it's about saving you time, about giving you the content and the platform that you need that allows you to do what you need to do to concentrate on the business of teaching without having to create too much yourself and without having any hassles. And of course that will give you time back in your day, which is always a beautiful thing. So who do you contact? You will contact according to your state, but of course if any chance you look at these ones and they're familiar, definitely call Sophia, for example, even your New South Wales. But if you happen to manage to connect with the wrong person, of course we will totally connect you with the right person, and as will Campion, and they'll let you know as well.
We will.
This is
Kerry, I'll just quickly, we do have a question that's popped into the chat. Yep. And it probably you might have just answered it with the please talk to us, but Carlene has bought a single access code for computing technology to try and test out the MindTap, but she can't get into it. She's registered as a teacher. She's having trouble accessing. What does she need to do to be able to see MindTap in action?
Yeah, so Carlene, you need to talk to us because there are certain provisions that have to be created for that to happen for you. So Carlene, if you're happy to provide or to get Campion to provide your email address to me, I can talk to you directly about that. And we have trials, so all our material you can trial and see that. So you didn't even have to purchase that code. We would have been happy to do that without it for you. But yeah, perhaps that's the best way, and then we can talk to you individually and make sure that you see all the things you need.
Lovely. Thank you very much. And
Cool.
great response. Thank you, Carleen, for your question. We'll follow up afterwards and sort something out for you.
Yep. Oh, Carleen, there's my
yeah.
email address right there. Feel free to go directly to me there if you if needs be.
Super. Well, thank you so much, Kerry.
No worries.
And next up, we have Daryl, School Engagement Manager from Pearson. So last of the I don't want to say traditional publishers, is that quite the right, last of the educational publishers, perhaps, before we move into the edtech area. So welcome, Daryl, and yeah, take it away.
Thanks, Susanna. Share screen. How's that looking for people?
Yep, can see that.
All good? All right, excellent. So essentially, my role with Pearson is a secondary schools engagement manager. So I'm all about supporting customers with their digital success as well. I wanted to just touch on some of the features that we're rolling out into our new senior titles. Some are there in existing titles, but obviously as we develop new titles that are coming into the marketplace, we're incorporating some of this. So I'm talking about what we call eBook plus assessment. You will be familiar with it if you have any of the Heinemann Senior Science series. You can see that in action there. But obviously, as like I said, come out with new things, and in particular, you'll see it appearing in our new senior languages as we roll those out into the end of this year. So essentially, what is eBook plus assessment? Obviously, if we think about an ebook, the expectation is it's a digital representation or a digital version of our print text, but inclusive of a lot of different stuff that we are able to provide in support in that digital environment. So as you would expect, we have the same content that's authored with rigor and depth, an expert author teams that meticulously curate that content and key skills. We include things like past exam questions and examiners' notes. We have a wealth of teacher support to support our implementation, and that's something we really are focusing on and putting that teacher support front and center in a lot of our digital products. We obviously incorporate videos and interactives that help support different learning styles and reinforce understanding. And we have these sets of questions, these online formative assessment questions that encourage students' independent learning and help teachers with planning and identifying student misconceptions. That's one of the main things that I guess I'll touch on this afternoon. And of course, what we've done is we've brought the content and online assessment together in one platform. If you're familiar with some of our other resources in our both junior and senior titles, we had a platform called Lightbook, but you had to sort of jump out of the existing ebook to access that. And so bringing it all together makes it a very seamless experience. So where can you access those features? So I've taken some snapshots here. Like some of the others, I'm not jumping into a live environment for you, but if you are just considering our ebooks, and we have a table of contents coming up here for, in this instance, again, it's a biology text. You can see that embedded in that table of contents, you will have these digital assessment components that students can access as they move through the body of the text. So what we've done is we've got a prior knowledge assessment that's there, and then you'll see after each section of the text, there's an online assessment as well. You'll also see, if we consider our bookshelf, what we've done is we've utilized the classes menu, which has historically been found on the left, but we haven't really touched on that in previous products. So if we just jump into a bit of a tour as what you can do with the classes menu, obviously when you click on that, you can access the classes that you might be a member of. You can create new classes, you can curate and modify those classes. So you can easily add students just by typing their name, and it will add them to the class, and you can change the product of that class sees and all that sort of stuff. You'll see once you click on a class that you have access to not only the class list now that's generated, but there's 3 sections that go across the top. So class members, assessments, and assessment results. It's as easy as that. So once you're in that classes environment, you can toggle between all of those things so that you can assign assessment to members of that class body, and you can also check on the results that are there. So clicking on the next screen over, you can see that I've clicked on the assessments feature, and each of those chapters in that particular resource comes up. It'll be a drop down there, and I can then look at the components, those digital components, and assign those to the students in that class. There's a range of different types of assessment questions, 5 different types in total. There's the prior knowledge assessments, and this is one that I've put here for an example for you. Obviously, it sets the scene. It gives the students a little bit of prior knowledge information and then asks them a series of questions. There's the chapter sections, and each of those contain an assessment format that reinforces the content that students have learned. It's all brought together in a chapter review with somewhere between 15 and 25 questions. And there's also 2 types of reflection questions. So we wanted to start the chapter with reflection, so students get an idea of giving you feedback about what their expectations are before moving through the body of the text, and also then what they've thought about the learning that they've received as they've completed that particular chapter. In all, 22 question styles, so a whole range of different question styles, drag and drops, multiple choice, true, false. And you can see there's an example of one of those drag and drops or types of questions there. All those poll type questions are auto-corrected, so that's really an advantage for teachers. But we also have style of questions that is free form, so students can type responses into those particular fields, and teachers will be able to review and correct those through the platform as well. All our questions contains hints, so this is scaffolded for the students that need a little bit of help or a lot of help, and I've included an example here of the types of hints. So you can see that there are 2 hints per question, and once the student exhausts those 2 hints, then the answer is revealed. This is great for aiding competence, affirmation, and also debunking misconceptions. What are these things great for? Great for homework and revision. Students can sit them multiple times, so they're not necessarily completing a quiz and then locked out. They can keep going back and repeating that and gaining that expertise. It encourages independent learning, reinforces and consolidates the learning that you're doing in class. All these are different questions to the questions that we found in the body of the text. So that's an important thing as well. And for each of the titles that you can see, we've got over 1,000 questions per series. So say for biology 11 and 12, we've got 1,000 online questions in our bank, and same with chemistry and physics and so forth. And the questions are also designed from a low to a high cognitive level, so that you can help students with thinking and evaluating and synthesizing skills. Okay, teachers can assign tasks directly to individual students or groups of students or to the whole class. And it's the same way that you've seen with some of the other guys. You can do a quick share and copy the URL and then forward that through to the particular student body, whether it's through their learning management system that you're using or an email, and you can communicate that expectation to the students to do that at a particular time. Teachers are provided with real-time analytics. The data is able to be drilled down to each question level, and we'll have a look at that in another couple of slides. How does ebook and assessment help the learner? Essentially, it builds confidence. So what we've done is we've got these scaffolded hints and auto correction and instant feedback for the students in that digital assessment questions, which enable learners to work independently and make decisions about their next steps. So you can see here I've included 2 screens. So a student, when they log into their ebook and platform, are able to see what they are still yet to begin, what they have in progress, so they can continue. And then when they've completed a particular task, they can see those results and get that feedback instantaneously as well. They're also able to drill down into the questions and see how they answered those and see how each of those questions were marked as well. How does ebook and assessment help the teachers? Essentially, it provides simplified lesson planning, so it saves you time by accessing content and assessment in the same simple to use enhanced ebook platform, and it allows you to oversee student development. So you get a clear overview of student progress with the online progress tracker for more targeted support. All the results are exportable for reporting purposes. And again, ours are also mapped to specific content, but they also map to those syllabus outcomes. So I've again provided a couple of snapshots of some of the representation of data that you can see with those analytics. Across the top there, you'll see on that top one, that's basically a question view. You can see your class list, the results they got. You can deep dive when you go to the See Answers and click on each of those. But you can also change the reference to look at learning outcomes. So we've done, again, a heat map that's similar to some of the other guys that you've seen that maps those results against those learning outcomes. So you can get an idea and an expectation about how they're tracking against that particular quiz, but also against the whole course if you wanted to, and pull that whole heat map up. The second view down the bottom here is more a detailed view, and this is more the traffic light representation of that particular quiz. And you can see again where you can start to pick up trends about where students might be failing, or where you need to go back in the class and touch on some of the content. So say for question 4 and 6 in this instance, everyone got it wrong, so we might need to touch on those things again. If we look at where this is coming into some of our senior languages titles, you can see that it sort of generates a whole new ballgame in terms of digital tracked prior learning and reflection and grammar and viewing and reading tasks, listening and speaking activities. All of these things are available through this Assessment Plus tool, which now provides that instant feedback in the assessment section to those students in those senior courses. So that's sort of a game changer for us moving into this space here. So it's really exciting as we consider these two titles around Itomo and Quetta Neuf. There's a whole range of benefits there, how this benefits a student, which I'll let you go through when you look at the recording. But yeah, that game changing, bringing that assessment, that formative assessment into these titles is exciting. And how, of course, it benefits the teachers. I think the main thing is that teacher assessment dashboard. You can allocate tasks to students at any particular time. You can formally assess the class and bring that student learning to inform teaching and remediation needs. So really exciting. I've created some quick links to some of the series there for you. So you can see the Heinemann VCE, the Itomo and the Quetta Neuf Senior. All of those contain that Assessment Plus piece. If you need to contact anyone, I've got my contacts there, and I've also included Julia Shaw, who's our secondary sales manager for Pearson.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Daryl. No questions in the chat for you. Really appreciate that. It's so impressive, the very sophisticated learning tools that all the educational publishers are producing now, especially with videos and analytics that are available. Is just really love seeing this stuff. Okay, so now we're going to move into the world of digital first and educational technology. So Rob, welcome. Rob is the country manager for StudyClix, which is well, you're going to explain it, aren't you?
I am. Hello, everybody, and thanks, guys, for having me. Let me just get my presentation up, and hopefully I have a better job of sharing my screen. Give me a moment.
Are you on a Mac, Rob, or are you on?
I'm on a PC.
Indeed. Well, thank you so much for jumping in while Caroline gets her Mac sorted out.
That's all right. Let's get the presentation going.
Hey, Caroline.
Stephen, you need to go on mute. Thank you.
Okay. Share. Okay. Can you guys see a
Yes, I can see that. So take it away,
okay.
Rob.
Great. I can't see it, so I'll just have to trust that you guys can see it. So once again, thanks for having me. So StudyClix is an online web platform for students to get better results for their VCE. So really, really simply, we license all of the VCAR past exam questions. We also have a relationship with Kilbaha and TSSM for their trial questions. But where we're a little bit different is we break it down by topic. So from a student perspective, Sorry. So from a student perspective, we've got 14 VCE subjects and 10 QCE subjects. So it's available in the Victorian and Queensland market. It's mainly units 3, 4, but there is some 1 and 2. So we're a knowledge gap analysis resource for students. So it allows them self-paced preparation for exams, if you like. From a teacher perspective, there is a teacher version of this, which is free for all teachers. And it's a really good time-saving tool. And I'll give you a quick demo towards the end. And it also has a future, and I know a lot of people are talking about formative assessment, but there's a whole analytics platform coming for StudyClix. The feedback has been really strong. I'm only quite new with the company, and all the teachers that I've spoken to absolutely love it. So I'm going to take that as a positive thing. And I even went into a presentation from a gentleman named Andrew Douch, who was teaching kids how to get better results from their VCE. And he said, you know, one of the top tips is to go to the VCAR website and download past exam questions, or even easier, just get StudyClix because they've done all the hard work for you. So I thought that was a really good endorsement for what we're trying to do. From a pricing standpoint, we're very competitive in terms of tutors, some of the competitor book version study guides, and certainly the trial exams that students can buy. So for students, it's questions by topic. So rather than just downloading a total exam and having some questions that might not be relevant to current study design, you can actually pick the topics to have your questions for. There's quizzes and plenty of other content for the students to test themselves against, and live support. For teachers, there's an exam builder and a quiz builder. And for schools, as I said, there's the benefit, obviously, getting the kids with a better result from their VCE, but also an upcoming analytics platform. Pricing is free for students, but they only get a limited amount of content, which is 2 questions per topic. The premium access is going to be next year $29.99 per subject for the entire school year, or $100 that includes every single subject. So it's certainly better value getting the premium bundle. From a school standpoint, we do total cohort pricing, which will be significantly cheaper than what you see there. But, you know, there's certainly flexibility. It can be book listed through Campion, or it can be paid for through consolidated fees. So obviously that's a conversation to have with your Campion sales rep. Couple of questions that we get asked a lot is, does it work with other resources such as EdRollo? We're designed to complement all the other learning platforms. If you like your teachers who are the primary, you know, learning mechanism, and some of these other contents are there to teach the kids, we're almost there just to make sure that teaching worked and make sure that the kids are ready for, you know, for exams. So it's certainly a really good tool to complement the other learning platforms. And we're really excited that currently we're in 3/4 of all Victorian schools in some way or another, and that's come from complete organic growth. We've done no marketing in Australia. That's just come from being an amazingly good platform. I would encourage everybody to reach out directly to Campion or to me. As a teacher, everybody has free access, and every school has a unique access code. So please contact Campion or myself, and we can get you that code so you can go and have a play around and get your kids going. Now, I will just do a quick demo. Can everybody now see a Hi Luke screen?
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you log in. Let's say I'm a student wanting to do some biology. I click on biology, I pick a topic, and you can see when it comes up that for this particular topic, we have 22 VCAR exam questions and 15 trial exam questions that relate to this specific topic. So I can go through, I can do the question, I can have a look at the exam report, I can mark it as done, or I can add it to a collection. That's as simple as. You've also got flashcards, video content. There is a lot of different content available for the students. From a teacher perspective, and this is where it gets really exciting, it looks very similar, but you can see some extra features here. Again, if I go into biology, it looks pretty much the same, but we've got a new icon here that says assign. You can now assign this question to any of your students, even if they don't have an account with So really simply, once again, we're in this topic. I can just add whatever questions that I want from past exams to that. And once I'm happy with that exam, save and review. As soon as I'm happy with it, sorry, so put a name, save and send. I can either download that into PDF to send to the students, or I can print it out. So no more cutting and pasting of old past exam questions to get the content that you want. And then the final thing that I just want to show you is our brand new quiz builder. We have 10,000 quiz questions built into the platform across all different subjects and topics. Once you go into a quiz, it automatically builds a quiz for you. You can see through it, randomly grabs the questions. If you don't like a question, you can just replace it. And again, once you're happy with it, you can just save it, get the share codes. You can either share it through most of the popular platforms, but in this case, I'm just going to copy the link and then go back to the student page, drop in the code. And once again, even though I don't have a paid StudyClix account, I've got complete access to this quiz, and I can go and answer the questions. I'm clearly not going to get any of these right because I don't. Oh, there you go, something right from a biology standpoint. Now, if I do go back to the teacher part again, you can see there from my assessments that this quiz that I just built, someone's only done 2 questions, and you can see what the result was. You can also see the results by topic and by question. So once again, if you're using this as a formative assessment tool, you can see where the students are doing well, where they're not. So where maybe you need to, refocus your teaching. That's it from me. If anybody's got any questions.
Thank you, Rob. It looks great. Really enjoyed that. Just a question from me, actually. So currently, it exists for VCE and QCE.
Yep.
What are the grand expansion plans? Are you going into other year levels or other states? What comes next?
Yeah, absolutely, both of those. Certainly, other states will be the first thing. StudyClix has been around in Australia for about 3 years. And the size of our market, considering it's been completely organic, I'm literally the first full-time employee in Australia. So all of that growth has happened. So it will absolutely be on our plans to grow into other states.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much. And if anyone would like more information about StudyClix, reach out direct to Rob or to your Campion account manager. And now we're coming back to Caroline from BioBrain.
Great. Thank you very much, and apologies for that. So thank you for having me. I'm excited to showcase BioBrain. If we can, next slide, please. BioBrain is a contemporary learning platform tailored to the needs of today's digital native learners and their teachers. So it's been created to complement the work of teachers in the classroom. It helps develop the key skills that students need required for the skilled jobs of the future. Next slide, please. Our curriculum-aligned courses have been created by extremely experienced teachers, all teaching their respective subjects in schools in Australia and overseas. We primarily cater to Year 11 and 12 science students and their teachers. However, we do have some Year 10 science, and it can be seen from this slide that we have the International Baccalaureate, New South Wales curriculum, South Australia, Northern Territory, and also Victoria. Next slide, please. For most of the following slides in the presentation, we will have both the teacher and student interface on each slide to show you how the two marry up. The learning material is identical for both the teacher and the student, you can see here. Down the left-hand side is a particular curriculum that the teachers would recognise, so Unit 3 and Unit 4 for, say, Year 12 biology, as per the appropriate study guide. Next tab, please. Our content has been broken down over 3 levels. So this allows students to build confidence as they move through the levels. So for example, basic cell structure might be level 1, then fungi cells, plants, animals, etc. And then we go into cell specialization as they move through. For every level, there's a pool of questions that teachers can assign to students. They can choose whether they want to assign all the questions or just some of the questions. Can you tab next, please? Tab again. Thank you. So that's the teachers. They can view quizzes and assign quizzes. And the next one, you can see the students. They have the student interface and it says take quiz or assigned work. So they can go into their assigned work and complete quizzes, and the results will appear in their results and the teacher results, whereas take quiz is if they just work through the platform themselves doing questions. Next one, please. We have an illustrated glossary that's all hyperlinked throughout. So you can see there's a glossary tab at the top there, but there's a word, it's called hydrogen bonding. And if you click again, the glossary term will pop up and the students can review that. So they don't need to leave the place on the screen where they are or the book or whatever. And if you click again, please. Thank you. And then it will just disappear and they can keep reviewing the content. Thank you. We also have quizzes that are auto-graded that can be assigned, but we can do differentiated learning. So we know as teachers that we have a big mix of abilities in the classroom. So in this example, Sarah, she might only be going for satisfactory. So she will maybe get unclicked and not do the levels 1, 2, and 3, but all the other students in the class would do that. And with the auto-graded quizzes, you don't need to spend time on corrections, it's done for you, or even creating the quizzes. This is allowing more time for teaching, which is what you're there for. Next slide, please. Thank you. While most external assessment in Year 12 is composed of multiple choice and short answer questions, BioBrain has a variety of question types to assess understanding. Next, please. So we have swipe left and right, so chemicals like acids and bases, comparing two things, biology, abiotic or biotic. Similarly, we have order lists for processes such as transcription or translation or natural selection, short answer questions, true, false. So it allows us to test the same content in many, many different ways. Tap next one, thank you. All our questions have fully worked solutions. So if a student in physics got 10 newtons, but the answer was 5 newtons, they can find out maybe where they multiplied by 2 to get the wrong thing. So perhaps they used the wrong equation that give them wrong answer. So yeah, a lot of students really like that they have fully worked solutions to all the problems that they get. Next. Our results dashboard provides insightful data for teachers at both the class level and the individual student level. Tap next. Teachers can download the class results into an Excel spreadsheet or a CSV file. Next. If we zoom in here on one section, and again, you can see here, if we look at Unit 3 photosynthesis, Level 1, they're all doing pretty well. So they've understood the content, but by the time we go to Level 2, you can see we've got a range from 30 to 80%. So again, using that traffic light system that you've seen, that can help inform teachers' teaching as well as students and what areas they need to do. They also have their own results dashboard that helps them practice and study for the quizzes. So a lot of our current BioBrain schools love to use the quizzes at the start of the lesson or as homework to reinforce concepts taught in school. BioBrain can also be used for flipped learning by setting the learning material and quizzes for students prior to covering the content in class. Next. Our subjects are all color-coded to allow both teachers and students that teach across multiple sciences or take multiple sciences to have a visual difference. And everything, once you click into one of your subjects, will be green if it's chemistry or blue biology or the teal color if it's physics. So this is a really good visual representation for the students. We also have a bit of gamification, keep the BioBrain bee buzzing by completing a streak, just like the Duolingo owl. We got the BioBrain bee, and you can encourage your students. We all know that practice makes perfect. So doing a quiz every single day, that number will go up inside that hexagon for the BioBrain bee. Next. So how do teachers use BioBrain? Well, there's a multitude of ways for teachers that have been on a career break or first year teachers. There might have been a new study design so they can find out what's exactly in the curriculum. And they can also provide information about students, how they're understanding the content they've taught in class. So it presents the content that teachers have taught in a slightly different way, but covering exactly what's needed for the study design. Next. And how do students use it? They can use it in many ways. Most of our students, they love using it to and from school on their phone. They can use it obviously on their computer, that's best at home, but they love doing quizzes. Teachers have set them, or looking at the glossary term. So there's a number of different ways that teachers and students can use it. Next. So many schools choose to deliver additional subjects at years 9 and 10 to keep the students engaged apart from the traditional biology, chemistry and physics. This is why BioBrain's developed forensics, marine science and psychology as part of our offering. So if you're interested in those subjects, please get in touch. Next. So BioBrain's currently used by more than 50 schools in Australia and overseas, and this number of schools is growing each month. So it equates to well over 2,500 students using BioBrain. Next, please. So if you'd like to organise a trial for your school, please contact us. My email was on the first one, or you can contact support@biobrain.com.au and we'll be in touch. So thank you very much for coming to the presentation. Has anyone got any questions?
Thank you, Caroline. No questions in the chat, so I think you might have escaped scot-free. So that's great. Really enjoyed seeing your product there, and we're also going to catch up at edtech. So as I mentioned at the start, if anybody online is coming to edtech, do please let us know. Well. Look, I want to thank you so much to everybody who's made it through. That was a rip-roaring hour and a half with lots of information, and to our fantastic presenters, Paul, Caroline, Chris, Kerry, Daryl, other Caroline and Rob, and Stephen running the tech magic there. So yeah. Really, thanks for attending, and we'll get you out some follow-up bits and pieces in the next little while. Okay. All right. Bye, everyone.